when you mention the word loan and debt to a Man United fan now, it is not
You
the word you want
slap.
to be initiated, to be associated with ownership.
What up, guys? It's the second episode of the PH. Repping my one and only club today, Manchester United. Have here with me today a United fan from his mom's belly, I think. My bro, how far, man?
I'm good, my guy.
Introduce yourself to our guys.
Well, my name is Pills, aka Yusuf. I'm a Man United fan, and we're here to discuss any and everything related to what my guy here wants us to talk about today. Let's see what he has in store.
When did you become a United fan?
Man,
Was that correct? From your mom's belly?
No, you're slightly ahead of time.
Mad.
I became a United fan in about, I think, 2002 or 2003. I think
Sure?
what attracted me to Man United at that time we're using Vodafone. Anytime I see the Vodafone jersey, the first person that comes to my mind is Van Nistelrooy.
You know who comes to my mind? I think Sylvester or Veron.
Yeah, Veron. But I really liked that 01 to 03, 04, 05 team.
Yeah.
I really liked that team. I was in love with Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy is the player that made me fall in love with mine.
That guy was
today till tomorrow.
An actual character.
Goal machine, my guy.
There's this match against Arsenal that I pissed off Arsenal. Was so crazy, bro. And Jonas,
it could have been, that was the game that if we had won that game, they wouldn't have gone unbeaten.
That's true.
Where he missed the 90th minute penalty.
Yeah, and then they were now riling him up.
Exactly. And then the following season, he scored the penalty that ended their
unbeaten run. So, I've been saying this thing to a lot of people. I think that football is very poetic. Because it's a very poetic story now. You miss a 90th minute penalty to stop an unbeaten run. And then the following season, you score a penalty to stop to end the unbeaten run. Nah, man, you can't just write it. But bro, I don't think we're here today. Today we're not here to entirely just drool over what's been going on the pitch for us. Like we are off the pitch, and we're trying to. We're just going to look into Man United. That's the club, how the club has performed globally, and what it means for them. The Glazers, when they came in, I remember. I think when they come in, the Glazers,
2005, thereabout.
And by this guy's parent, pops, no, Abraham and Joe.
Yeah,
Malcolm Glazer. Yeah, when he signed and bought the club, I think that since then, even before then, actually, we've been on a proper trajectory to stardom. But then when they came in, how did that change? Like, what happened? What has their ownership brought into the club?
In a positive way?
Yeah, both positive and then negative. Because I feel like the major reason why we're here today, where we are now as a club, is because of lots of their failures.
Yeah.
Right. So, just to give them their flowers, let's know what they've done over the years for the club.
I think when they came in,
yeah.
At the particular time they bought the club, Chelsea had taken over domination in the league. Mourinho had just won the league. He was on course to win the second one in a row.
Yeah.
So Fergie at that particular point in time, as it regards on the pitch matters.
Yeah.
The team was going through a phase. Fergie was trying to build another team. He was phasing out at that particular point in time. Roy Keane had just or was about to retire. He had fallen off with he had a falling out with Van Nistelrooy, his top striker.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Van Nistelrooy was having issues with Ronaldo, and he saw Ronaldo and Rooney as the players who were going to take the club to the next level. He saw them as the future. So players like Roy Keane were being phased out. Van Nistelrooy was going.
Yeah.
On the pitch, it was a form of a transition phase.
Yeah.
So at that particular time they bought the club. The club was still trying to get itself together. Chelsea had taken over. Chelsea were on course to win the second title in 2 years. So um, within 2 years, the club had won a title and then won three in a row. Oh
Yeah.
07, oh 08,
Oh
oh
seven,
09.
oh eight, oh
Oh
nine.
06, oh 07, oh 07, oh 08, oh 08, oh 09. The club won three straight Premier League titles. In between that, Chelsea won. Then we won again. Then we lost to Man City
Man
by
City.
goal difference. Then we won. Then after that, we all know how it's been for the past 10 years. So
Yeah.
I would say for the first 8 years of
Their
their
ownership.
ownership, we were really performing at an optimum level off on the pitch.
Yeah.
As for off the pitch, the club was also getting bigger in global standards, in ratings and everything. The club was on an upward trajectory. It was becoming a well-liked club. I can say that within those first 7 to 8 years,
Mm.
aided by, of course, our performances on the
On the
pitch,
pitch,
the
true.
club had gotten to a level where Real Madrid was the only club in the world that you could really put ahead of Man United. If you're going to put it in terms of global respect
Global
and
respect.
fan base, the club was well loved and well liked and very popular every single place you
And
go
then
to.
at that period, that's when we were growing like a whole lot. Like you said, fan base. Because I think that's when we started expanding to lots of Asia. And then every tour we visit Asia,
Exactly.
visit the US,
Yes.
Asia, US, Asia, US, because
We
it was
capitalized on
growing
that Asian.
a lot.
And one of the things that aided our Asian fan base was don't forget, we had Jisung Park.
Oh, that's true.
The fact that we had Jisung Park in our team brought a lot of Asian fan base to the club.
And then he was not just any kind of player. He was that player you can always count on. That's
Exactly.
what he was, and he was loved by everybody
Fans loved him. Fans loved
all
him.
over the world. We all loved JS Park. JS Park 13, bro. Me, Fred today.
Yeah.
I've seen sometimes when they liken Fred to JS Park's
Park.
kind of impact because he's that kind of player where you tell him do this job and he will do the
The,
job.
but the only difference is that JS Park is much more assured in
Oh,
possession.
true.
He's more technically gifted
Gifted than
than Fred.
Fred.
Overall, he's a much better player than Fred. So, but I can see the likeness of how people liking them to
Like,
one another.
yeah, true. Like, still on the success of what's the name,
The
the
Glazers,
Glazers, right? I think they, like I said, let's give them their
flowers.
flowers. I think they're the ones that put us like globally on that map, on in itself,
Yeah,
because we were performing like proper and all of that, but they just took it up a notch,
notch. Yeah,
basically, and that's been so helpful
it
to the
is. It
club
is
and the
even. It
brand in itself.
it is even what has held the club down, even in with how tumultuous the last 10 years have been.
True.
The global brand of the
Oh,
club has kept the club afloat
that's
for the
very
past
true.
10 years, even with
The
limited success
success is
on the
on the
pitch.
pitch. True. That's very, very
But the
true.
fact that the club has such a large fan base has kept it relevant. When you're looking at highest earning clubs, Man United are always and consistently in the top 10. This is without winning a Premier League title within the
Per
last 10 years,
10 years,
without winning a Champions League title within the last 10 years, with just having one Europa League title, two FA Cup titles, and two Carabao
two
Cups
Carabao Cups,
within the last 10 years. And I think about two Community Shield titles. That is all. But the
and
club has remained relevant. It is still being able to compete with other clubs financially, economically in the market.
yeah,
It is still very active, and that is because the club has gotten to
that
that
level
level.
where it can
So
sustain itself.
exactly.
It's crazy, but sadly, we're at the junction where the club has to be sold, and like I said earlier, we're here because of the failures from the Glazers.
Jesus.
And now, off the top of my head, I'm thinking, what are the things that has gone wrong between the Glazers and the club? Why, why are we here today? What are those failures that have come in place?
I
What did they
think
fail at?
I think there are remote causes of these failures, and then there are immediate causes.
Okay,
this has been a long, it has been a long way coming. Anyone who has followed the club or is interested in the club as much will know that this day was eventually set to come with the way
Yeah,
they've handled affairs. I think when we talk about giving them their flowers and the first 8 years, one of the reasons why they were successful in the first 8 years is because the club had a man named Sir Alex Ferguson. He kept the
bro.
club relevant on the pitch. And when your club is succeeding on the pitch, people will not really
But that was
bother
going on
about
behind the
just
scenes.
how much the economic problems are off the pitch.
Yeah,
But he was having to deal with a lot of, towards the end of his reign,
mm,
he was having to deal with a lot of issues regarding money to sign players. And
true.
this, one of the major failures about the Glazers is the way they've handled the footballing department, recruitment, um, scouting, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
When Fergie was around, Fergie personally scouted players, or if he didn't scout players, he personally requested for players that he loved. Like
And based on what, sorry to cut you short, based on what he had done for the club, he had that right to do
he
that
had that
already.
leeway to do that.
Yeah.
Typical case, Robin van Persie.
Oh,
He personally requested for that signing as the signing he felt could win us the league, because the previous season we had lost the league title on goal difference.
I,
So he demanded for that signing, and
yeah.
the club was gracious enough to get it for him, and we won the title. But by and large, the club has, yes, money has been spent. No one is going to dispute the fact that monies have not been spent and we've just been wallowing. No, monies have been spent, but it is the manner in which monies have been spent and the
Spent, true.
players those monies have been spent on. We've not really had good value for our
Money,
signings. When you
true.
look at clubs like Man City, clubs like Liverpool, they have had good value for their money and their signings. And one of the major issues I have with the way Glazers have handled signings and the footballing department is the sales. Man United over the past 10 years has not been able to sell players. When you look at teams like Man City, teams like Liverpool,
Yeah,
they can sell even they can sell players for a good sum.
yeah.
When you see players like Ferran Torres, players like
Oh,
Mane,
money,
players are getting sold for good sums.
Coutinho.
You understand? Yes, you spend money to get players, but as a big club, if you're going to ship out players, you
You
should be
sh-
able to get good value for the players
for
you're
the
shipping
players you're
out.
shipping out,
But typical case, an example, Man United sold Paul Pogba for free in 2012.
bro.
Came back to the club for a world record 90 million
90
pounds
million
in
pounds.
2016, and then left for free again in 2022.
And that's him having a World Cup winner.
I mean, you begin to question, and that all stems from the fact that when you hire people who don't know how to run a club. I mean, Edward Ward, no disrespect to him, he took the club to great heights commercially
Yeah,
and economically, but he is a banker. What does he know about running a football club?
nothing, man. No.
And that
Learning
is
on
one
the
of the
job every day.
when you're talking about the failures of the Glazers,
Yeah,
you don't need to look further than that man
Ed Woodward.
called Edward Ward. He
He's
is
the
what
face of the Glazers.
epitomizes the failure of the Glazers, and it is a pitiful situation that we found ourselves in. I would just hope that over the course of time things will get better, and whoever, if they end up selling the club, whoever acquires the club will put in proper structures
Another thing is all of these failures. That's what started to bridge the gap between the owners
and the
and the
fans.
fans. And I think that was one of the. It's very detrimental for any club. Using Chelsea as an example, when Roman was still in charge of Chelsea, even up until the time Roman left, the fans didn't want him to leave because they have this proper connect to him. And I think that's one of the most important things to have as a club. When your fans are well connected with the owners, I think it's just a seamless ride from there on.
It is. Even still sticking with Chelsea, the new owner,
Yeah,
Todd Bowley, has already had a connection with the fans.
true.
He's going out, he's signing players, he's showing the fans that he's ambitious. So he's winning over more fans than he would have initially thought. And that is
Exactly.
because he knew that when he was coming to fill in big shoes, filling in the shoes that Roman had left was never going to be easy.
Easy.
But
he has done that seamlessly,
he has,
actually.
to some extent, gone about his business seamlessly. And
And
if you
expertly.
ask an average Chelsea fan, he will tell you he's favorably dispensed to the idea of Todd Bowley. So owners need to understand that having fans on your side will go a long way.
Yeah.
For within the past 5 years, almost every match day, you'll be seeing banners, Glazers out,
Glazers
Glazers out.
out.
When your fans are constantly,
Green and yellow, or green and
exactly,
gold.
when your fans are constantly sending out such messages, something is wrong somewhere.
When we played the Carabao Cup final, it was said that Abraham was there.
Yeah.
It was said that was the first time he was coming to watch a match since I can't really remember, but say 2019,
Mm-hmm.
to watch us play live, and I think that's very bad
It
for an
is.
owner.
I mean, when you invest that amount of money in a club, I think you should be very much interested in the club.
Exactly.
Um, I think they also own an NFL team, the Glazer
The Glazer
family.
family, yes.
They also own an NFL team. I think I'm forgetting.
I
I'm
can't
forgetting.
remember the
I'm
thing,
forgetting the name. But
but
they are much more involved
mm,
in the affairs of that NFL team.
than they are with Manchester.
In fact, I know the team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where
Oh,
Tom Brady was playing for. And they won a ring 2 years ago. The
yeah,
Tampa Bay won a ring 2 years ago. They were going all out to secure wins and to secure trophies for Tampa Bay.
yeah.
The way they run Tampa Bay, the way they run the box is much better than the way they run Manchester
United.
United. And the thing is, when you're talking about going to attending the match for the first time since 2019, look at Todd Bowley. Todd Bowley is in the Chelsea
I was
director post
about to
every
say this,
game.
bro.
Every game. Look at the Newcastle owners. These new Newcastle owners, that
Yeah,
lady Amanda Stevely and,
Amanda
and,
Steve.
and, and all those other guys there. They are there watching these games most of the time. It is because they have vested interest and they're making sure that they're on ground to ensure things go in the right direction.
Yeah,
Yes, when you own a club, you day-to-day running of the club is not on you. You appoint a CEO, and that CEO has a director of football, a director of this, a director of that, who work under him.
yeah.
So those people are in charge of the day-to-day running of the organization. But you should show that you are concerned and you should show that you are interested in this. And the fans must see that you are also interested in it and buy into your vision. But that is missing. So
It's just so crazy. But now down to where we are, there's a potential takeover coming up, right? That's what I'm so excited about right now. I can't even lie because I'm tired of this man. I'm so tired,
I think
to be
I
fair.
think 9.5 out of every 10 Man United fans you engage are delighted that there's even talk about the
The talks
potential
have been
takeover.
happening a lot,
And
but
now that,
it looks like it's coming to life
yes, it's
now.
taking up shape.
And as we stand, there are two potential bidders,
Yeah.
and that's Ratcliffe and this guy, Sheikh Jassim.
Yep.
In your own opinion, who are you clamoring for? Who do you want
It's
to take over
obvious.
the club?
I will go with the Sheikh. I have no reason to
Bro,
align myself with Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
why?
Even why? Because I believe, number one,
Do you think he's a bad person
no, I
to
don't
run the
believe
club?
Sergeant Radcliffe is a bad person.
Yeah,
The thing is, we ask ourselves, how did the Glazers get here,
yeah.
and how can we avoid that? And what are we looking for in a potential buyer? Number one, we need
True.
we
Good
need a
question.
buyer who will make us debt free. If his purchase of the club, if he's going to purchase the club, it needs to be debt free.
This is the major reason why I'm backing Sheikh, to be fair.
Exactly. His purchase of the club is number one, 100% full ownership. Number two, it is debt
Debt
free.
free.
Number three, he's committed to developing, or let me say redeveloping, the stadium, the training ground facilities, the women's teams. He is committed to developing a whole lot of things on a large scale.
Skill. Yeah.
So he's going the full haul into it. And we know how these Middle Eastern and oil-rich people go when they are buying clubs. You see what the Qatari group have done in PSG.
Mm.
Yes, it might not have gone exactly the way they wanted it to
Winning the
go,
Champions League,
but
yeah?
the only way, you cannot say they've not given it a try. They have gone all out consistently every year, trying to get to the pinnacle of club football. They have consistently tried it. The same thing with Man City.
Mm.
Now they are dominating England. I believe, and let's not forget about these guys in Newcastle. who just bought a club 1 year ago.
1 year ago.
And already they are pursuing Europe. And on top of their pursuit of Europe, they got to a Carabao Cup final in a year. Give those Newcastle this ambition.
A lot
those
of
guys
ambition.
are when they buy a club, they show ambition. And more often than not, they appoint the right people to head the right department.
I think that's the next step after the ambition.
And then
because the people you appoint, the people you appoint at the end of the day, like we said earlier, this guy, Ed Woodward, is the face of the Glazers.
Yeah.
Right? So the people you appoint is as important as you taking over the club.
Exactly.
And that's so crazy.
You know, another thing about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I have nothing against the man actually. But when you look at his proposal, his purchase of the club is going to be serviced via a loan.
A loan, which is what we're trying to avoid.
We're trying to avoid that because that was what got us in a mess with the Glazers. That is something we're trying to avoid. Now, given, yes, it's not the same situation with how the Glazers bought it. He's not going to take that loan and put the loan and burden the loan on Man United like the Glazers did.
Yeah.
But when you mention the word loan and debt to a Man United fan now, it is not the word you want to be initiated, to be associated with ownership.
True, bro.
You understand? Because we've had our fair share of those words being prominent within the last 10 years. So we don't even want to hear anything of that sort. And don't forget, Sir Jim Ratcliffe owns Nice. OGC Nice in the League One. If you know, he's the owner, he's the CEO of Ineos Group. Ineos is their
Ineos is their sponsor.
Yeah, on the front of their shirt is Ineos that is there. Let's ask ourselves, what has Sir Jim Ratcliffe done with Nice?
Yes.
How far have Nice come? Yes, from the time Jim Ratcliffe bought Nice and how Nice are now, there has been considerable improvement.
I think there was a time they tried to compete for the league.
Yes, there was a time they tried to compete
like 3 years ago now.
And I think they are in the shout for the Champions League places there about now. Okay. They are fairly competitive.
Yeah.
But if within the League One, a league where it is basically PSG and others, you own a club and you've not been able to uplift your club to a level where they can even rival PSG with the so-called resources you have at your disposal, season after season. Why should any Manchester United fan believe that we should hand over the reins to one of the most commercially successful clubs in the world to your hands? It is a question I think a lot of people are not even asking.
Actually, people are not asking this question. People are even forgetting he owns OGC Nice.
So, except he bought OGC Nice as a side gig and a side show, I see no reason why someone shouldn't be judged on his track record in that field as it regards ownership of teams. And that is one of the issues I have with Jim Ratcliffe. The French league is not even money as far as financial capacity is concerned. The French league is not even up there. So if you can't even rival PSG, no one is saying you should go toe-to-toe with them in signing players.
I honestly feel all Man United fans, right, are behind Sheikh. That's the Qataris bid. Seeing their first bid, looking at their first bid, like it just says, it shows your ambition already from your first bid. And it's so impressive to see that the Qatari have this sort of ambition towards Man United, arguably the biggest club in the world, right? And now, we're approaching days when, based on reports, we're approaching days when a second bid is going to be launched. Given that a few weeks back, they both visited. Okay, so I don't think Sheikh came. Sheikh didn't come. Sheikh Jassin.
Yeah, his
representatives came, and then they spent hours, close to 10 hours, storing OT, had positive talks. Then the following day, Sir Jim Ratcliffe came himself. How may I see it? I see it as all PR because
it's PR.
He spent like 30 minutes, right, and then left. So all of that was PR, and the British media carried out a lot, but didn't carry Sheikhs.
We know it's always bound to be that the British media will back.
Actually, he's the richest guy.
He's the richest man in Britain, and the British media see Man United as more or less like the beautiful bride of England.
Yeah,
it's the biggest club in England. It's the richest club in England.
It can build stories around us a lot.
It has the most commercial appeal.
Yeah.
this idea behind clubs being sold, a lot of conservatives and traditional media in Britain are not favorably disposed to the idea of selling to a Middle Eastern person again.
True.
You understand? They believe the club has a rich history and so on and so forth. They don't, and they see the whole Qatari purchase as a form of sports washing and all these
Oh, that
terms.
sport washing thing is.
So
There has been a conversation.
exactly. So you have people from Britain pushing that agenda, and that is why you see everyone is
I
pushing.
know a
What
reporter that's actually pushing this agenda, like he's taking it
exactly
upon himself.
is
Couldn't review, sha.
is what they do. You understand?
Yeah,
So, but the fans don't care. The fans are tired. You're not going to blackmail fans or try to guilt trip fans into that rope. No,
yeah,
the fans know what they've seen over the past 10 years. The fans want to see ambition.
yeah.
When teams like Newcastle are already showing ambition, you have to stay afloat. If you don't stay afloat, you get left
And
behind.
our name
You
can't keep us
drown.
there anymore.
Yes, we already gone a decade without a league title. We shouldn't go 15 years without a league title.
That's going to be very, very terrible.
So I think I am favorably disposed to a Sheikh Jassim
At the
takeover.
end of the day, now, yeah, say Sir Jim Ratcliffe takes over. What does it mean for the club, both on the pitch and off it, commercially, globally?
I
What
don't
would it
know.
mean?
If Radcliffe takes over, I don't think
I'm asking this because you're not clamoring for him.
it's not going to affect. No, there are certain things. No matter what Radcliffe does, there are certain things that won't change. Radcliffe taking over will not change the fact that Man United is the biggest team in England and it's one
True.
of the biggest clubs in the world. It's not going to change our global appeal.
Yeah.
What Radcliffe takeover will do is that a lot of fans will not be happy. One, two, people will be waiting to see
Ambition.
ambition from him. That is two.
Sorry to call you short from two. I think what people will be waiting to see in terms of ambition, they would compare it to Todd Bully. That kind of ambition. That's the
Exactly.
only thing that I think Radcliffe can do that will win the fans immediately.
He has to show serious ambition. If he doesn't show that, he has started on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
He cannot run Man United the way he's running Nice. It is he is going to get booed in less than 2 months of taking over.
And that would be so bad.
You understand? So, and then don't forget, whoever purchases this club is going straight into a transfer window.
Oh, true. True.
It's going straight into a transfer window.
That's where you have to flex your
We're in
muscle.
March. Let's say this takeover is completed in May,
Yeah.
April, May. Season is over. Transfer window opens 1st of June. You're going straight into a transfer window. You have to show the fans that I'm in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
And you have to show your ambition right from the get-go. The only potential buyer I feel will do that right from the get-go is Sheikh Jassim.
Yeah.
The man is ready to
He's
purchase the
ready.
club.
He's
And
ready.
after visiting Old Trafford and seeing the facilities, inspecting the facilities, being presented with an overview of how the club is and the club standing as far as regards football globally.
Yeah.
The new reports coming out now that he's willing to overpay
Yes, that's the new
for the
report now,
club.
and that was so impressive because before this visit, yes, first of all, before I continue, anybody that comes to my show must drink beer. Heineken to be specific. I need you to pop one. He did it. Anyways, I was saying before he came, right? Reports were saying Sheik wouldn't overpay for the club, or
Yes,
he wouldn't be
those were the
bullied
reports.
into overpaying.
Yes.
And then he comes, sees the facilities, spends about 10
10
hours,
hours.
and then new reports are saying he's
He's
ready to overpay for the club, which means what he has seen or what his delegates have seen and reported back to him has been this even beats what we thought it was.
Yes.
Which means there's so much potential for us to nail this head on. I think that Sheik for me is the right person. That's the person I want the club to be sold to. Because off the top of my head, like you said, we're going straight into the transfer window. He's going to bust it. He's going to give us the third bully effect in that transfer window.
Which is what we
And
need.
we're also forgetting that currently in terms of playing, we're starting to pick up. Eric Ten
Exactly.
Hag is doing a really good
Good
job.
job.
It's taking us to he's the first available trophy to him.
He
He
got
wins
it out
it.
of the way
He's in the quarterfinal
of both the Europa
of both the
League
Europa League
and the FA Cup.
and the FA Cup.
We're third on the Premier League table.
Exactly, third on the Premier League table.
So
That's a good first season for him. I think that the next step, I feel like on the pitch we're like say 3-4 players away from
yes,
competing with like City and
Arsenal.
proper competing and Arsenal
Arsenal.
too. So that's where Sheik is just going to come in and bust heads,
Yes.
drop those signings, goes back to working
Well,
on the facilities and all those other things he wants to do.
speaking about the transfer market, I think what this season has exposed about the team is we lack that quality in depth.
Yeah,
The reason why players are being run into the ground, Ten Hag is always using his first 11, whether he's playing Reading or he's playing Man City, whether he's playing Bolton Albion or he's playing Real Madrid,
yeah.
he's using his first 11. It's because he doesn't trust his bench, number one. And number two, he wants to win what is available in front of him.
Yeah,
And if you don't trust your bench enough to start them in games where you should be regarded as a walk in the park, then there is an issue. You cannot be starting your best players at every available game. So
it's not even
that is it.
healthy for
We
them.
need more quality in depth, and if we get our three at at the very minimum three signings who are going to go right straight into the first 11.
Yeah,
The next thing we should be looking for are quality players we're going to have on the bench. We need about 15 to 16 quality players
in
to
this
vie for the
squad.
league title. Quality, not just squad players. You need at least 4 to 5 players on the bench that will be very good enough for you in terms of rotation,
Yeah,
where you're rotating players in your first 11, in terms of when injuries are coming into play.
yeah.
So you might need new players when you're giving players a rest, and then to build up their match regime and match sharpness and to keep them competitive.
A lot
You
of
need
people, sorry, a lot of people don't really understand what it means when we say quality in depth because we kind of have depth, but that quality is lacking, and it shows once he brings in someone from the bench
exactly
that doesn't have that quality. Typical example is Arsenal. Thomas Partey got injured
injured.
for say 5 matches or 6 matches, and then they bring in Jorginho, and they still bliss through. They still control games.
Exactly.
That's a lot of
Of
quality to
team.
have on the bench. And he is for Jorginho. Jorginho is quality and experience.
Experience. That is what he gives you. He gives you that quality and experience. You see, the only way you can win a title without a solid bench and just with a good 11 is like doing it the way Klopp did it. But Klopp did it in the way he did because his players were always fit.
Yeah,
His players were always fit, and that is what aided him to achieve that. But after that, now
it
we
was
are seeing the effects
the effect of that kind of
of
season.
that because he was not having a very solid bench. Players like Van Dijk are going down and being out for months. Players like Mane had his own injuries. Firmino had his own injuries. Players are getting injured that weren't supposed to be injured.
Yeah,
And these were
exactly.
players that were key to his success. So, but unlike Pep, who come rain, come shine, there
Has
are
the
quality
quality.
players on the bench. We should aspire to be more, to be in a situation that is more liking to Pep than to Klopp. We shouldn't handicap our coach and just restrict him to 11 or 12 very quality players. We
Yeah.
shouldn't handicap our coach to that. So I think whoever takes over needs to factor that into consideration. What I'm really concerned about, whoever takes over, irrespective of if it is Sheik
Yeah.
or Jim Radcliffe, is I want to see football people making football decisions.
Decisions.
I
That's the most
don't
important
want
thing.
any of these um, word
Commercial,
nonsense.
banker, all those things.
I don't want any of that.
We need footballing people. And I think that at the end of the day, like you rightly said, whoever takes over just has to do that, put in footballing people. And right now, I think we're kind of having that to an extent, employing people that just want to make footballing decisions, not just business decisions.
Exactly.
Like Richard Arnold now, the new
Yeah.
CEO, is making a lot of footballing decisions, and that's so good to see.
Yeah.
And we just want that to translate into the new ownership.
The thing is, as a CEO of a club, no one says you should know everything about football.
Yeah,
You're an administrative head, but make sure that you're appointing a sporting director that knows what he's doing, a director of football that knows what he's doing, a head of recruitment that knows what he's doing.
yeah.
These are the people that will build a team for you, a coach that knows what he's doing. Once you get this right, go ahead and be doing whatever thing you want to
Do
do.
with the
These people will
business.
take care of what you want them to take care of.
Exactly.
So
Whilst
we
you take care of the other business, and you just be a smooth sailing at the end of the day.
exactly. So I think we need to get whoever takes. I think see at the end of the day, Radcliffe, if he wins the
Yeah,
bid, knows he's in for, is in big trouble if he doesn't spend. The fans will never forgive him.
true.
If he does,
I would not forgive
he is going to
Ratcliffe.
be in a big mess.
I would not forgive Ratcliffe.
And the problem with Radcliffe is even going to be in a bigger mess than whoever takes over. Let not look as if I have an agenda against Radcliffe. Whoever takes over and doesn't do what fans have been clamoring for is
Yeah.
in for his own out, whether it's Shake out or Radcliffe out, is going to be worse
Than Glazer
than the
out.
Glazers.
You
Because when you were bidding for the club, you sold us dreams that all of this and everything that had happened is in the past.
Yeah.
You're coming to right the wrongs. If you do worse, if you don't follow that path, you're in for a big trouble. The fans will even be way more upset
Yeah.
than they were under the Glazers. So I think we should look at things from that aspect.
I think just for us to end for today, because we can go on and on and on talking about Man United and this
Exactly.
potential bid. But for you, where do you see the club competing? What level do you see us competing next season?
Well,
With whichever ownership, actually.
whichever ownership.
Yeah.
I think if the Glazers remain the owners next season,
Mm.
I think we can compete. Depending on how much, depending on giving two reasons. One, how much is given to the coach
To spend in the
to
summer.
spend in the summer, which is very very important. I think if the club if Ten Hag is giving a war chest of 200 million,
Yeah.
we will compete favorably
Yeah.
next season. We will close the gap on City and Arsenal.
And Arsenal.
We might even catch up. We don't know whether Liverpool is going to be back to the level they were next season, the past years. But I am sure that if this guy is giving proper money, we bid with the Glazers, even if with the Glazers, whoever it is, if he gets a war chest of nothing less than 200 million, we will compete favorably. If it is Sheikh, I believe Sheikh is going to go all out. What I don't know is whether Sheikh is going to toe the path that his folks at PSG have done, fellow Qatari brothers. I don't want us to be fixated on high-profile signings
Oh, true.
and miss the mark as it regards building a team.
A team.
You
I think that's
understand?
another big fear.
And
But
that is my only fear with um, Sheikh coming in, because people who like to do things in a big way
yeah,
always like to go out big. When you want to go out big, sometimes you
you
might
like to make statement signings.
exactly. And when you're trying to make some of these statement signings, you overlook the fact that this particular signing might not be good for team cohesion.
Yeah.
This particular signing might not fit the style the coach wants to play. But that signing might be a brand name, might be commercially big.
Jersey sales.
You understand? So
I'll
you're
be
looking
safe,
at different
rather.
things. But the most important factor you should look at when signing a player is what he's going to do on the pitch and how he's going to help the team. So
At the end of the day,
at the end of the day, I think whoever takes over, war chest is going to be key next summer.
yeah,
And then giving the manager the freedom to pick his targets. Now, what good clubs do is good clubs allow managers to pick their targets.
Yeah.
But at the same time, good clubs are also insightful enough to identify targets that they feel would fit into the system of a coach. And they recommend them to their own coaches.
Yeah.
So I want to believe that if whoever are going to be our owners by this time next year, we should be in a good position if we back our coach and we spend a reasonable amount of money.
For me, man, I just want my club back. I want us on top of the world, bro. Man, it's good having you and having this episode, because I think that I can keep talking about this, because I'm so like I've never been this invested in the whole talk of potential sale. But now that I can see two clear bidders,
Exactly.
they're about to make a second bid.
Bid.
I can't wait, bro.
Same here.
Can't wait.
I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know who's going to win, but fingers crossed, whoever wins the bid
Yeah.
will do what's right for the club. And that's what we're hoping for, man. We just want our club to be successful again.
All right, guys, you heard it. We want our club to be successful again. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Man United shall be great again. Normally, I would have said we'll never walk alone, but they don't already clap me 7-0 this season, so they are very crazy. Let me mind my language. Anywho, thank you guys for having us. Please like, please watch, share, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell
Tell
a
a
friend
friend.
to get the jerk about off the pitch.
Pitch.
Cheers, guys. See you next episode. Mwah.